Okay, because
Okay, we laugh. We laugh. Well, my eyes. All right. Make sure. Oh yeah, we are live. We are live. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Influential Self First podcast. This is our first recording live, so I'm super excited. If you're coming in right now, I want to set the groundwork first. So we're going to go through the interview first. At the end, you can ask questions to the special guest, Courtney, and she'll be happy to answer them for you. So if it's your first time discovering the podcast, my name is Chinitha. I'm the host of the show, and it's been an incredible journey. This podcast began 9 months ago. We have 19 countries we are downloading in. It's been amazing. So today, I'm super excited because it is the first time we going live, and Courtney is setting the tone for everybody else to come after her. So, with that being said, today the topic is about our relationship with failure. And let me know if you have a problem hearing me or not. But we're talking about failure, and I believe it's a great topic because we have been indoctrinated in school and society that failure is definitely a bad thing. But as an adults in the real world, we know that failure is where all lessons are learned the best, right? We don't grow unless we're stretched. We're not stretched until we fail at something. So, with that being said, I would like to introduce to you Miss Courtney Nicole, my special guest. Thank you, Courtney, for being here. Welcome to the show.
thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm super happy to have you, and I'm excited for you to share your story today because when I heard your story, I definitely was inspired. And I know that it can help a lot of people understand the relationship with failure and how it can better themselves. So,
Hmm.
before we get started, can you give a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you yet?
Okay, so this is always interesting, right? You're like, what do I say about myself? So I am a life coach. Um, I stepped into what we all call the leap of faith when I was 24. I left corporate America, left all working for anyone, and just took the leap and have since gone through all of the ups and downs of that journey. Are still, in the deep of it really, because I don't think it's really ever over. It's always something to get better at, something to accomplish, a failure that you face. Um, and so that journey has just allowed me to connect with other incredible people. I'm an artist as well, a poet. And yeah, as far as when it comes to my, coaching, and we'll get into it more as we talk. I partner with people in stepping into truly who they are, because identity is a big one. And we live um, in a world where you take in everybody's opinions of you, all of your past experiences, your failures, your all this stuff, and it shapes who you think you are.
Mm.
And so I can't tell you how many times I've asked someone, "Who are you?" and they could not answer the question. And that's a special kind of pain, like to see someone at 40, 50, 30, 25 not know who they are. And so, that was definitely, my place of service for sure. And so here we are on my first ever podcast. So,
I love it. I love it. That's incredible when you spoke about identity because I can resonate with that so much.
hmm
And for a lot of part, along a big part of my life, I struggle with that. And
hmm
what I believe is that we wear what's thrown at us as like a
hmm
coat, right? And so
right.
that's really big. That's a whole separate show for itself. But I
Right.
love that.
hmm
So let's get into it. So failure introduced you to your better self.
It
So
did.
before you even got to knowing what that was, what was your relationship with fear and failing in the previous version of yourself?
So I was allergic to it, or so I
Mm.
thought. Right. Even as a child, I had to be the best. First hand up in the class. 98, 98s annoyed me. I'm like, why didn't I get 100? Um, and I was just very focused and just determined to just show up and show out. And
Mm.
so anything that I set my mind to, I accomplished it. Anything, whether it was a higher salary, whether it was, field day, like I'm 100% competitor. And so failure to me was if you told me I had to, you know, take a couple steps back to take some forward, you a lie. I just go the way. This ain't my route.
Mm.
so, um, and so I didn't know what it was. I was just, so determined. I didn't associate myself with it. It literally was like, nah, that's not me.
Wow.
And so that was how I, looked at it. And that mentality, landed me in situations. I was, making over six figures at 22 years old. And I was, around great people. I was always the youngest in my space, definitely at work and in many of my social circles too, actually. And so it set me up for a certain type of lifestyle and one that I was very comfortable with and was used to. And um, so that would be pre-failure. Mhm.
Wow. Wow. There's so much I want to unpack there. There's
Uh-huh.
so much because I hear perfectionism.
Mhm.
But before we get into that, where do you think that drive and that mindset came from?
Mm, such a great question. That's the big part of my story, actually. And so it changed, the fuel changed. So when we're young, we can do everything, right? We have, people telling us, oh, you can do it, keep going. Or we have, school, sports where it's just all about having fun and so it was just an early sense of um self-awareness and just knowing that I gotta be the best. Like what else is there? Why not? And so, my father would say, if you put your mind to it, it's gonna get done. Like I remember him, I had a poster in my room and it was 26 letters, and for every letter there was a statement. And he
Mm.
challenged me to memorize it. I don't remember the time frame, but I was like, done. Let's do it. And I did
Wow.
it. And so it was just that was just the I was that I definitely do feel like, God put a special little, extra little oomph. Not that I feel like I can, exceed or, do something that another person can't do, but there was just like this desire or refusal just to fail. I just had to be the best at it. And so eventually that translated into, you grow up, you become an adult, life happens, and your motives change, your reasons change. And so a lot of my grind, a lot of my hard work and my focus, one side of it was wanting better for myself. And, having this, I told my father I'd be, millionaire by 30. I told him that at
Mm.
17. And so I always had this, like, I'm definitely meant for big things. Like, we don't play small. But then it then became, I hit some bumps and, in life and in my relationship, with some people. And it then became my fuel to prove them wrong.
Mm.
And then it became me against the world, proving everybody wrong when really that wasn't the case. It wasn't me against the world, but, this particular, these relationships kind of put me in a space where I was determined to not need anyone. And so my determination to not need, I had to make sure I was always good. And so in
Mm.
doing so, I worked my butt off. I was super focused, people were at the club partying, doing their thing, having a grand old time. And I was like, I gotta go to work. I was working 3 jobs at one point. So at one
Wow.
point I was working my butt off to make it. And I was driven by the paycheck, essentially.
Mm.
I was driven by the paycheck. And so, and that's why I said I didn't see it even as a negative because it landed me in these rooms. I was making well over six figures at 22 with that mindset. And so it was this go, 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 grind, 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 better, 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 better. That's all I knew. didn't even appreciate myself at that, and like my grind at that time, because I was always focused on the next best thing.
Mm.
Never took a
Wow.
moment to sit and say, "You're not doing too bad." It was always, "It's not good enough. I could do more. Thank you, that's cool, but I so much better." And so it
Wow.
wasn't until that I stepped out of it, we'll get into that here shortly, that I was really able to give myself credit for showing up like I did.
Wow, wow, wow. There's so much there. I was thinking about when you was talking about keep going. I was thinking
Hmm.
about Patrice, our coach Patrice. Chase
Uh-huh.
purpose, not money. That's all
Right.
I kept thinking about. Chase purpose, not
Right.
money.
Right. That's one of
And do
the
you
things
think
that truly resonated with me when it came to Patrice. I caught her
mm,
interview, or an interview she did a long time ago. And I didn't complete it in that sitting, but it wasn't long before I stumbled back upon it on YouTube. And I was like, oh, let me finish this. And here we are within, PTP, and, connecting with each other. And here, first podcast, like,
yes, yes.
uh-huh,
Wow.
mhm,
There's a lot in your story that a lot of people they admire, like, wow, she's making six figures before 24, I think 24, right? Or
22.
22 making six figures. A lot of people are like that now,
Mhm,
but obviously we're here now because something shifted your perspective on that. So what do you
mhm,
think the defining moment was for you when it began to alter your perspective on failing? Because you were very driven. That's what I hear is driven,
mhm,
very going, get me to the money, right? That's what I
mhm,
hear. So
mhm.
where did the breakdown happen where that defining moment made you think like, well, you know what, maybe failure is not a bad thing? Can you pinpoint that?
Well, see, at this point, I hadn't failed yet, right? And so I had to fail. And so it was when I made the decision to take the leap of faith into, my passions, and to no longer work for anyone else. I knew that the road ahead would not be easy. And I knew that making the decision. And I was committed to that. Still thinking I could kind of, go other routes, or, not have to bump up against as much as I did. But having not known failure, I failed once, and I was like, ooh, I failed again. And I was like, oh, okay. I failed again, and it kept happening. And it was like, what am I missing? Like, okay, failure was a part of this a little bit, but I'm smacking nothing but failure. It's meeting me every avenue
Mm.
I take, every role that I step into, everything that I'm trying to do. And what is it? God, what's up? And so, I like to think that I, prayed about this move before I took it. There was a couple of times I was, I hear my God in my head, like, did I tell you to do that? Or what's that? I'm like, well, I'm here now, help me. So, um, after failing for, so many times, it really took a blow to my ego. It really
Mm.
truly then shaped who I see myself for a specific period of time. And so we go from this, child who was like, what? I am who I am, very self-aware. Tell me I can't do it and watch me do it twice. And so to failure, failure, failure. And it girl broke me down, took everything.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I really started to I turned to God first, and I'll turn into self. And I'm like, what is it? What is it that I'm missing? And I'm talking years of failure.
Mm.
I'm not talking days, not talking a couple little projects, not a couple weeks, years. And so you
Right.
have this constant failure. It really starts to, you start to question, well, am I who I thought I was this whole time? Or
Mm.
was it my circumstances that were allowing me to come to these places, making, achieve these things that I achieved. And so, um, and thinking about failure introducing me to my better self, it did so, but not before it stripped me of everything that I had. It stripped me of my identity.
Mm.
It stripped me of
Wow.
who I thought I was before introducing me to my better self. And so it's funny, we hold tight to this idea of ourselves that is so grand. And God is like,
What are you doing?
you're so far from who I created you to be, and who you're going to become if you step into this like you need to. And so it was those continual failures, failure after failure after failure, that got me to a point of complete just frustration. I mean, we're talking, it was rough. It really was rough. But we keep it short. um, there was a night that I got so frustrated, and I was at my wits. I'm like, what am I missing? I said, God, I'm missing something. What am I missing? And at that time, and this will probably actually come to a shock to many people who know me. At that time of my life, I had $400 in my bank account. You go from a 6-figure salary at 22 to 23, you're still good at 24, and then around 25, 26, things start to shift. And so you're used to that you're taking care of everybody else, you're pouring in here, and all of a sudden you find yourself with $400 in your bank account. And so it was the frustration of nothing that I was doing working. The 400 in the account, it's like, okay, cool, I'll get that back. It's I'll make the money back, but it's why is nothing I'm doing working? And so I got so frustrated. I'm, the cash out, cry. I'm raging like, God, what am I missing? The next day I literally was coming back from somewhere at about 1 a.m. and out of nowhere, smack, car hit me, spun me a couple times, about threw me to the other side.
Wow.
And no scratches, no nothing. Totaled the car. So I now at this point have no transportation, right? So at least I can get to the money. I can get to
right.
Not no more, because he took my car. When I tell you, because I had prayed that prayer, I said, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever it is. I'm missing something, and I'm ready for whatever that you have. I'm truly surrendering to what you have for me. And the next day, what he had for me was an accident in the total car. And when it happened, I couldn't do anything but smile. I legit was not upset. I wasn't angry. It was immediate. Okay, God. Okay. Because what my thought was, I'm still in control. God was like, I need you to understand. Like, you need to chill. You need to chill. I could have threw you through the windshield. I could have chucked you out the side door. This could have been different. This was me shaking you up. You know how you shake somebody up, like,
like, do you hear me?
Get it together.
Wow.
And it was like, okay. Oh, you got this. I'm going to trust it. And from that point on, we're talking, girl. Yeah. Between that and failing so many times, essentially failure upgraded my faith.
Come on now.
Upgraded my faith along with introducing me to my better self, because I had no choice but to trust God. I had it, and there was no way around that. And so if there was a point, I would say that would be the point that I was like, you know what, my way, I can't do it my way no more. I can't do this. I keep failing because I'm doing it my way.
Right.
And, I now see that God had to break me all the way down, take everything that I had, to rebuild my foundation, because the foundation that is not strong enough to withstand all that he's pouring into me now and all that's coming in the future. It's not strong enough. And so I had to, release this idea of who I was supposed to be or who I even was, because for a long time, I compared my current self to my old self. I tried to go back. I'm trying to get back, and the goal is forward, right? So
you didn't say so much right there. I don't even know where to start. It was so much that I don't even know where to start. But identity, and I definitely been there. I've been there. And as far as going back into the past, so you had a different, so like I would think our lives were switched, right? So in the beginning of my life was traumatic, and I was trying to figure out who I was. And so the identity that I had was not my identity. And so trying to still be in control, trying to be perfect, trying to assimilate to everything around me. And I get it, but it's awesome to hear your story as a shift in that perspective to start differently and end up still in the same spot. Girl, you said so much. You know, you said so much, but
Mhm.
that was amazing. And to have that awareness to know that, okay, it's not working for me. It is not working. What am I doing wrong? You know, like having that, like Patrice said, that bathroom moment. We all
Mhm.
have had something similar. Maybe not that, but
Mhm.
we all had that moment like, okay, what is going on?
Mhm.
You know, when I look at my life, and I've had that moment before, and I've shared it openly when I went to a confidence workshop and I was stripped down of who I was, my facade, right?
Mhm.
I knew how to look good, do the makeup, do all that.
Right.
And when they
Right.
told me look in the mirror and say things to myself out loud, I couldn't do it. No matter how much I coached myself and I tried to do it, I couldn't do it. And
Mhm.
I broke down. And
Mhm.
that day when they prayed for me, I felt like a weight lifted off me.
Mm.
I had no longer, I couldn't pretend anymore. You
Mhm.
know, now it was revealed. So
Mhm.
I love that, Courtney. Your story, girl. Where your podcast at? Okay. Okay. So
Mhm.
next question. So with everything that you've been through from day one to this moment right now,
Okay.
when you look at your life today, what does shifting that perspective do for you
Mm.
from then until now, this very moment now?
I'm unstoppable.
Come on.
I'm back to I'm that little I'm the can't tell me nothing. Watch me do it 3 times over. I'm back. I'm back there for sure. You know, when you not only release the negative idea that you have around failure, but you literally make it your best friend.
Mm,
It cannot be. It's so you release such a burden from yourself. And honestly, you know, when you really break it down, it's like, well, what is the failure? Is it actually failing, or is it, you know,
the fear.
your expectation not coming through? So
Mm,
it's all based on our own expectations. Because, and I, you know, one thing that I coach my clients through is, you know, what we call, and you know, detached involvement, where you can be 140% into a situation and be completely detached from the outcome and
mm,
trusting that it's going to work out exactly how it was supposed to work out. So you drop your expectations off and you still
okay.
show up, and you show up. And with that mindset, I mean, girl, the opportunities are absolutely endless. And it really sets you apart, you know, because fear of failure, it feeds on dreams. It's
Mm,
got folks by the neck. And many
yes.
of them, unfortunately, you know, some will never be able to, you know, some will never release themselves from that. That's the reality of the situation. And so that's why I'm so passionate about, you know, really, you know, when I hear people say now, or you ask them what their fears are and they say failure, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You want that. You want that. And so to answer your question, it's I'm unstoppable. There's when you when you're not concerned about failing at something, what is it that you don't do? What is it that
Mm.
you're scared to do at that point? So while that doesn't mean that I don't step into, you know, my first live podcast, well, it's funny, my first live on an aired situation. Not to say I didn't step in here with, you know, some type of nerves, but I'm here. You know,
I
it's not.
love that.
It can meet me at the door, and I'll catch you later. I'll catch you in a second. Just let me do this.
Come on.
And so you gotta develop a relationship with it, and it's a relationship best developed early, because I couldn't imagine going through what I've gone through the last 7 8 years 10 years from now,
Mm,
20
yeah.
years from now. And so you know, I'm thankful for the timing too. You know, God is, you know, he works in mysterious ways, but this was definitely necessary for me. And so I can now step into, I'm now operating in who I am, in alignment.
Mm, come on.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
Yeah.
Put it on a t-shirt. That is good. You know,
Mhm.
I've told you before, I admire you have a confidence about you that exudes just when you speak. You
Mhm.
command you command the stage. You
Mhm.
command the screen. And I admire that about you so much. And so
Thank
when you help people to detached identity? Because I've heard that before, and I've heard that just the first time actually last year. I've
Mm-hmm.
never heard somebody before talk about detached from the outcome. So
Mm-hmm.
how would somebody even begin to do that? Would they just, maybe do the work and not have any hopes for what it can turn out to be? What would
Right.
that
So,
look like?
right. So what it is, and in the because for a minute I couldn't wrap my head around it because I'm like, how do I detach myself from something I'm so passionate about not working out? How does one do that? Because if I don't care if it doesn't work out, do I care about it like I think I do? But it hit me one day. It literally is a direct reflection of your faith. Because when you have
Mm,
faith, you trust that it's going to work out the way it works out. So the example I often give is, say that you have this huge event, right? You're going to perform and you got 500 seats to sell out. So you're gearing up, getting ready for the show. You're hyped, you're excited. It's amazing. Your team is handling the ticket sales, so you have no idea what's going on. You step out on stage and it's 8 people in that auditorium.
mm,
You have a decision to cave, to focus on the 492 seats that are empty, or you have the opportunity to still show up fully in yourself and trust that those 8 people that are there are supposed to be there. Now,
wow.
fast forward, when you detach yourself from the outcome of it, you're able to truly show up. You're able to say, you know what, I'm going to rock this out. And so, say because you rocked it out, one of those 8 people were so impressed that they signed you a check that day to fund the next 5 events that you had, the 5 concerts you had.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's the idea that we have in our head. So our thoughts are 500 sold out seats. That's success. That's yes, that's it. And then we come out
Mm,
on stage and we see this failure because it's only 8 people. But God is like, you don't know what I'm doing. You don't know how I'm working. Like, I need you to detach from your expectation and trust that I have you. Trust that one of those 8 people, all of those 8 people are exactly who are supposed to be in the auditorium. And I need
mm,
you to show up. You showing up in 140% of yourself is literally letting God know that your faith is where it needs to be. God, I don't know what you're doing, but
yes.
I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out. And that's going to be what it is. And you get, girl, one of
Girl,
those
this is so
8.
good. I'm gonna need you to do some live videos so I can watch you in the morning before I start my day. I'm gonna need some live videos from you.
Mm.
You just said a whole word. And you know what I was thinking about? I remember I was at Command the Stage
Mm-hmm.
and I do social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that was said was that it doesn't matter if there's 100 people in the room or one person in the room, you
Mm-hmm.
still perform the same. But I had that other way of thinking, like you said, focus on
Mm-hmm.
other people who are not there.
Mm-hmm.
And look how everything plays out. Look how me and you connected.
Right. Right.
Girl,
Right.
come on, come
Yeah,
on.
we have to detach ourselves from our expectations because we have to trust that we literally have no idea all of what we have no we're unable to fathom the abundance that God literally wants to hand us. But he's like, I'm
Yes.
not doing so until you step into, you need to step into it, answer the call. I've been outside the door. I'm a gentleman. God's a gentleman. He ain't gonna bust in the thing. We're
I
gonna knock
love it.
and wait for you to
I
answer.
love it.
So so yeah, that's how you detach yourself from that. Just show up. Just show up as you are. You're equipped to win. Period. You're equipped to win. And that's why I literally, when I talk to some of my clients, they're so amazed at what's already there. Because I actually have
Mm,
a specific assessment that I give them. We start out with, and it reveals to you where you already naturally resonate. But it also
mm.
reveals to you your stress reaction that keeps you from that. And so when I expose to them who they are naturally, they're like, me? What? I'm like,
Right.
yeah. So now it's my job is to, sift through it and help you pull it out. We're equipped to win.
Come on. Girl, let me get to
Yeah.
the next question because I'll be here like, girl, what? So, for someone listening right now who may be struggling with um, failing or the concept of it, What is a piece of advice you can give to them? You done gave a whole lot of advice already, but I mean, what is one you can give to them?
Get over yourself.
Straight like that.
Get over yourself. Your purpose is bigger than you. It's bigger than your fear. It's bigger than your anxieties. It's bigger than what you think you can't do, your limiting beliefs, your gremlins. It's bigger than your circle. It's bigger than your circumstance, your bank account. Your purpose and the reason you were created is bigger than you. You have to get over yourself.
Yes.
You have to check yourself on a consistent basis. You have to be just as passionate. You have to, and I often tell, folks who know me, they know I see myself as two different. I'm my own best friend essentially. And so oftentimes in situations, she taps in. The second I'm like, here she come, like the devil is a lie. Step into that. Stop playing.
Come on.
And so you have to literally get over yourself. You have to learn to get into a space and to train your mind to check yourself at the door. Like, and so, yes, in simple terms, get over yourself. Your purpose is so much bigger than you. So you literally have to. It's not about you.
Wow.
Nothing that we experience is about us. Our pains, our joys, our passions, they're not about us. They're not for us.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, that's
See, you're gonna make the interview long because now I want to talk about that. Because you talking about purpose, girl. Listen, right? Purpose. So I made an ebook titled Gifted with Purpose. And it took me a long time to realize that even the trials, the valleys, the ups and downs was part of the purpose bigger than me. And so some people don't understand even the bad things, right? That we have to go through those things to come out a certain way, who we're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
I used to always ask, like, Lord, why me? Why can't I be normal? Why me? And I could never figure that out. So everything I did in my life was based on who I thought I was supposed to be. I thought, well, because this happened to me, I'm supposed to be like this. Because I was abused. Why would anybody love me? I don't love me. So why would this happen to me? And so, girl, you speaking a whole word about purpose. Because it took me 2 years ago to realize that what I went through wasn't for me. But I think what I believe is that we are conduits. And it's through us that we release the purpose that we've been gifted with. You want to touch on that, girl? Because I will get long-winded.
Listen.
Girl.
Yeah, that's me too, long-winded, because that's another passion point for me, right? And so when it even comes to identity, when I get with my clients and just at the time, pre-pandemic, when you could go sit at a coffee shop or just talking to people, they get so excited, they light up, when they talk about all they want to do and all of the person they wish they were and all of these, they have all these grand ideas. And it's like, okay, so what are you doing? Why aren't you there? And they're like, oh, I'm gonna save that for somebody else. It would be great, but I have these other things to do, and I have my family to take care of, and my bank account looks like this. And it's crazy how easy the amount of things we put purpose under, like where they are on the priority list of, with it should be the top. I'm actually, reading a book now. It's called, Wild Goose Chase. And it literally is talking about how it is our obligation to pursue the God-given passion within us. It's our obligation. And, sometimes we end up becoming irresponsibly responsible because we tack all these things of what we have to do and who we have to be. And while they seem responsible, they're irresponsible because they're delays in pursuing the purpose that we have, that God has, set forth for us. And so I mean, there's so many different avenues I can take with purpose. I won't take you down
You,
the 38 that I
now, I want to hear at least two more.
have.
We could talk about purpose all day.
Yeah, it's another thing I'll say too, because I feel like a lot of people are there. It's the word I'm looking for. Discouraged, for lack of a better word,
Mm,
because they're pursuing this one grand purpose, this one grand thing. There's got to be this one thing. I got to
wow.
find it. Everybody's, people are finding theirs. What is this one thing I was created to do? We're multi-purpose beings. We're not created for one thing. And so if we focus more so on living purposefully
Mm,
and not chasing a purpose, then we step into so much more fulfillment. And that frees us from this idea that we have this big grand thing that we can't get to, or we're falling short of, or we can't understand. And so know that you are multi-purposed individuals. You think water. Water is nourishment. Use it for cleansing, transportation.
mm,
It's habitat, for fish and all types of things. It's multi-purposed. And so we are the same way. And so I would definitely
wow.
encourage folks to, let go of the idea of you created for one big thing. You're a
Come
big
on.
being created for many, many things.
That's good. You know that's good, right? You know that's good, right? You know that, right? Because I think society definitely makes you believe that you're supposed to do this one thing, and they say focus on one thing until you get here and you do one thing really well. But like you said, purpose evolves, and
Absolutely.
in one season in your life it may look like this, but in this season it may look like this.
Right.
So we have to stop thinking so granular.
Mm-hmm.
You want to touch on that, girl? Because I know you got it in
And so
you.
and I also think too, as it pertains to failure when you are pursuing purpose,
Mm.
you could be well on your way towards that thing, towards that purpose. And one failure, I guess that wasn't it.
Girl,
That wasn't my thing. Because if it was, I would be good at it the first time I tried it. Of course. And that's another way of getting over yourself. What have you ever done that you were absolutely amazing at the first time you tried it?
yes.
I'll wait. Even our natural abilities, there's tons of room for improvement. There's nothing you don't continue to do and get better at. And so failure is inevitable. It's going to happen. The quicker you fail, the more often you fail, the quicker you'll get to your goal, the quicker you'll get to that idea of success that you have, the quicker you will fulfill the purpose that you were, or purposes, whatever that is for that time, that season, the quicker you'll get to it. But so many times, that's the very thing that derails and just has people just, and it's crazy because in fearing failure and not doing anything, what are you doing? You have people who say, I consider myself a failure because they're froze in fear of failure, doing absolutely nothing. And so failure lets you
Come
know
on.
that you tried. Failures, it's interesting. I had a thought today. I said, failure's introduced to you and saved. It saves you. So faith introduces you to failure and it also saves you from it.
Faith. Oh, wait. Let's pause right there. Wait.
Because
Faith
you've
introduces you
got
to
to have
failure.
faith to try
Okay.
something. You got to have faith that, okay, it's a little bit, even some mustard seed. I think I might be able to do that. Let me try that out. So faith is going to get you there.
I like that.
And then when the second you fail, it's like, oh man. But faith also steps back in and says, I can try it again. Maybe I can do it better the next time. Maybe I can, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe that's not how that was supposed to be. Okay, let me go back to the drawing board. It's faith that you can do, and you got to continue. When we talk about faith, you got to continue to push your weight on faith. And I feel like we in doing things, we often fail because we put our weight on ourselves and not on God. The weight's in the wrong place.
Girl, you better say that.
It's in the wrong place. We have so much faith, in our abilities. And the second we fell at what we thought we were so grand at, it's like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, me, I failed. It's just like, get over yourself. Try again.
Again, get over yourself, right?
And then when you seriously start to look at the greats and the people who have, really gone out here and made it and done their thing, when you really put your when you start to look at stats and you start to look at, I think, I read somewhere that the average millionaire goes bankrupt 3 times. Like, we're talking grand, like, strive to fail on a grand level. Like, you gotta strive to fail on a grand level. And yeah,
girl, we'll be on here for hours. I mean, wow. I love that faith introduces you to fear. A lot of people don't see it like that. I never heard that before. But it makes sense.
Yeah, it ushers you into failing because you had faith enough to do the thing. But it also steps back in and says, you can do it again.
A lot of society, again, when we go to school and we fail a test, you get an F, you failed.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't perform right, you failed.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do something right, you failed. Mm-hmm. So it's ingrained.
Right.
So if you're not a person that's self-aware, right, mm-hmm. where would they even begin at? I guess, where would they even begin at?
If you're not self-aware, where would one begin?
Yeah.
When it comes to what specifically?
When it comes to understanding that failing is a part of life that you have to experience.
Mm-hmm.
If everything was perfectly lined out, crisp white with starch all the time, mm-hmm. you would not evolve. You wouldn't grow. Mm-hmm. It's in the failure. It's mm-hmm. in the valley moments. It's when you learn.
Mm-hmm. So right, and you have to check it. You literally have to check the failure, analyze. Okay, I failed at this. How could this catapult me into success? Or what was it about this that I fell short? Why did I fall short? What could I improve on? You just really have to have a growth mindset. Because no matter how many times somebody told me I couldn't do something, it didn't change my belief in myself. It was like, it was my own, bashing that took me out.
Right.
And that's because I was, living up to the expectations of who I was. And so it was my own bashing that took me out. And so you just really have to keep a growth mindset. You have to stay curious, and failure gets easy as you go. It gets easier as you do it. That's why you just got to, keep at it. And, I would encourage somebody at the, maybe very basic of levels just to pour yourself. There's tons of videos, interviews, there's tons of material where folks talk about their failures, and to see other people where they are today, having learned their story or heard it, can kind of, give you that like, okay, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can. But, so many times, we're all gung ho and let's do this. And you get to the door and failure's like, you sure? And it's like, yeah, I'm going. I get out of my way. It's like, I'm gonna ride with you there. I'm gonna be in the passenger seat. And I'm gonna talk to you the whole way. That I'm gonna tell you how this is gonna be horrible and you're gonna mesh it, like all of that stuff. That's why you really have to have a voice within you that drowns out that of anything that's going to cause you to slip, fumble, fall, keep you stuck. And I won't say drown out necessarily failure, because you just got to learn to love it. You got to learn to have a relationship with it, to where you can sit and you can sit, failure can sit in the passenger seat. You can be riding on your way there and just, talking it up. Well, you know what? This is probably going to happen. Well, if it does, cool. Then I'll do this. Okay. Well, this is probably going to happen. That's fine too. Then I can pivot and go this way.
Come on.
You just gotta change the narrative.
Courtney, you are such a breath of fresh air.
Thank
You
you.
know, you
I
definitely
appreciate
are. You definitely are.
I
And
appreciate
I
you.
know that this what happened today, it was not by mistake.
Mm-mm.
There's no I don't believe in luck. There was no luck. There is
Right.
no happenstance that we here right now.
Mm-hmm.
You are helping
Absolutely.
so many people. I wish you can see the comments. But
Mm.
girl, you over
I
here
can't see
preaching.
anything. I should have told folks at the beginning drop some butterflies for me, so I know they're here.
Oh, you got some butterflies. The last question that I have for you is: do
Mm-hmm.
you have a resource you can recommend to anybody, like a book or anything that maybe have helped you that still helps you today?
The Bible, first and foremost. Um, just strengthening and building your connection with God. How do you? That's the best way to understand the creation is to know the Creator, and you
Mm,
have a manual for that. You have a direct line to your manufacturer, and you got the manual. So that's my first, that's where I'm headed first and foremost. And then the book that I mentioned, there's two. So there's one called Fail Fast and Fail Often, and then there's also a book that I'm reading now that's so good. I'm not done with it yet, but it's so good. I already know it's gonna end as good as it goes, or as good as it started. And so that is called Wild Goose Chase, and it's the reclaiming the adventure of pursuing God. And it
mm,
literally talks about, the cages we put ourselves in and how it keeps us from, living our calling and our purpose and pursuing our passions. And so that one has, I mean, it's caught me up a couple different times. I'm like, oh, it's one of those where it really, lays it out there. In plain terms, it's a really easy read, but it's so much depth to it. It's so many nuggets in there that really check you. One of the first lines that had me like, oh, okay. And this actually goes along with the fear of failure, because a lot of people they stay small. If
yes.
you just step out there and just really learn how to become best friends with this thing and step out there, and just go at it, you'll live such a exciting life. And so the book asked, are your guardian angels bored?
Girl, say that again.
Are your guardian angels bored? Are they bored with you?
What?
They ain't doing nothing, so we just chilling.
What's the name of the book? Because people are asking, what's the name of that book?
Wild Goose Chase.
Okay, I'm putting in the comments. Can you see the comments on the screen?
They're scrolling. I haven't looked. I'm trying, focus. Don't want to get. Let's see. Yeah, I can see a couple of them now.
Okay, Wild Goose Chase. That's the book.
Yeah,
Well, I have to.
Wild Goose Chase, reclaiming the adventure of pursuing God. I believe it's reclaiming is the word. But yeah, it's yeah.
Wow.
Fail Fast Often and Wild Goose Chase for sure.
Are your guardian angels bored?
Are they
Girl,
bored? Are you giving the main thing to do? Keep them busy.
that's stepping on some toes. Wow.
Keep them busy, because it's the pursuing our God given passions are so fulfilling. So they're scary, they're exciting, you have no idea the places you'll go, the rooms you'll find yourself into when you truly just step into that calling and that purpose. And so often people go day through day, their same lifestyles, their same routines, their same mindset, and they're literally, dying, essentially. They're living dead. They're just existing. And so it's it kills me to
Girl,
see it. But it's one of those things where you can't, you hope, you want to be able to like shake somebody up and say, Come on. But I also know, and this is one thing that I'm very firm about when it comes to my clients. I tell them I'm ready when you are, not a minute sooner,
Mm.
because I'm your partner, not your parent. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm here to tackle this thing together. And so, and I understand, I know how exciting that can be. I know how just the adrenaline of the other side of a decision you made, whether you didn't accomplish it the way that you wanted to or not, there's still so much joy to be found in doing it. You really have to learn to appreciate and really fall back in love with yourself when it comes to failing. Because it's like, think about babies, right? Think about kids.
Mm-hmm.
When they're learning to walk, do we tell them, okay, stay there, you fail? No, get up, you got this. Come on, clapping them on the way. They're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I can do this. They stumbling, rolling, and we're like, that's fine. Get back up, get back up,
come
get
on.
up again. We have to have that same path. That's still who we are. We're just, a couple years older. That's still who we are. We're equipped. We're built to win. We're built to win. I'm telling you, we are built to win. And that we have to truly champion the little person within us, like we would our children, our siblings, a kid we don't even know on the street. We could be in a store and
Yeah.
be like, hey, like, you got it. Why is this, we so hard on ourselves? So we have to really fall back in love with just the kid who didn't know, you know what didn't know what failure was. It was just,
Oh man.
I got to try it again. It didn't happen the way I wanted it to. I'm still in this spot. I got to get over there. So let me take another step. Let me get back up. And so if you think about it at the most basic of levels, sometimes we our mind, we create things that do not exist. One, but we also create this big grand picture when it's often so simple. Just get up. If you're here, you got to be over there, and you keep pushing until you get there. So,
Courtney, I love you, girl.
oh,
I
I
mean,
love you too.
I'm waiting for your book. I'm waiting for your live videos. I'm waiting for your stage, your speaking engagements. I'm there. I'm there. You
Oh,
are so inspiring.
I
Um,
appreciate you.
what I want, like, what when you every day, which I feel like
Hmm.
the answer already. I feel like I already know it, but what
Hmm.
inspires you every day to get up and know that you built to win every day? What is that?
It's bigger than me. What inspires me to get up at this point, because I've said too, the further I get into my life, the more I realize it's not about me at all. And so
Mm.
essentially, I'm doing it for y'all. Like, I'm doing it for whoever I was created to do it for, because it literally is not about me. And so it's for the person who does not know who they are at 40. It's for the 25-year-old who is, questioning themselves, or they're thinking they're going to fail at something they're doing, or because sometimes it takes one failure to knock people out for years. And
Mm.
so because I've, been there, and I see how that thing will hold you up. I mean, it can be at the most of, it's a ugly picture for some people, and I refuse to just. I'm doing it for that person. I'm doing it for that person. I'm doing it for, um, those alike that I'm building and those attached to me. They're a very big part of my reasons.
Wow.
I definitely, I've come to realize, that God created me for. He created me for a couple different. I'm that person. I'm that person in my family. I'm that person in my, space. I'm stepping into who I am, who I'm called to be.
Mm.
And I mean, what doesn't inspire me to step into this? It's just God is amazing, and I can't. I want to. I want to just peek into what He got for me. Like I know I can't. It's I know I can't
Yes.
understand it, but I'm curious to. Can I just see a little bit? Can I just let me see? Let me. It's like, well, shoot, why not? I've done the thing, you know. I've been all failure done had me caught up a couple times. We friends now, so we good. Like we can go on at this together. And
Come on.
so my knowing that I was created for greater works is
Hmm.
what inspires me. Knowing that I was created for greater works and that God chose me for this. I'm chosen. Like,
Come on.
it's not there isn't a lack of opportunity, it's a lack of vessels. And so just that's such an I don't take that light. I don't take that light. And that's why I truly set out this year to get over myself because I have held so many things. And, we'll get to all that. Y'all see that, in the upcoming situations. But I, was talking to a very good friend of mine and my gifts. Um, I've been selfish with gifts that aren't mine.
Ooh.
And it just,
Wow.
one night God was like, they're not yours. They're not yours though. And so that's definitely a whole nother topic for sure.
I'm
But
gonna bring
that
you back like 5 times.
I'm happy to come back. I'm
You are
happy
so
to.
special, Courtney. Um,
Oh girl, don't
it,
do it.
I just have to tell you because I feel this. You are so special, and you are very different than people I've met before.
Mm,
You're very different, and you have just like this light about you,
mm,
this
girl.
grounded light about you. And I know it's not about you, but it's through you
Hmm.
that you will help so many people. You inspire me. And everything you dropped today, I'm
Hmm.
gonna rewatch it over and over and over again. And in the comments, people are having so many breakthroughs. And I know, like you say, like you tell your clients, it's
Hmm.
up to them when they timing, and it's God's timing for you. But girl, what Patrice say, don't be the best kept secret. You have so much in you.
And it really that was another part of my journey. And it's something that I'm humbled. It humbles me daily, and I'm sometimes overwhelmed with the idea. One, just thinking about the grace of God is enough to just have you like, okay. But to also realize just how much I'm holding and I'm keeping.
Hmm.
And just to think about the fact that I am chosen and He put these things in me. Just the audacity of me. The audacity of me to keep it for myself.
Hmm.
The audacity to because my a lot of my I'm a creative, I'm an artist, poet, and all that, jazz. So those were essentially my escapes, right? That's where that's my retreat, because I give what I give, outward to the world. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep my art. That's my happy place. That's for
Right.
me. And God was like, it's not for you though. It's not yours to keep. And I was like, well, God, if I give that, well, where do I then go? What do I
Hmm.
then do? He's like, to me.
Come on, Courtney.
Like you going
Girl.
and I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, okay. So this is when I say this year, people who've known me know how different I'm moving right now, how different this year is going to be. I literally set out to be the example this year. I will be the example of what it looks like to invest in yourself, to bet on yourself, to fail and keep going, to step into your calling, to not take no for an answer. I'm because I realized I was like, I'm, exerting so much energy into like, I want you to see it, help me, see it, see it, see it. And it's like, God was like, I need just do, you need to, your example. You are the example. You're it.
Girl,
They need to see it through you. And so I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll throw myself on a chopping block.
every time I'm about to get to the comments, you say something to bring me back in, and I cannot get off. I cannot get off. This is so good, Courtney. Um, Girl, somebody said the audacity to me sound like a book.
Mm.
Please don't go silent after this because you stuck with me. You are stuck. I'm gonna be stalking you. Wherever you at, I'm gonna be watching you. You have
I'm
so
not running.
much
I'm going
in
nowhere.
you. And I love that about being an example of what that looks like, investing and failing. Girl.
And that's
Okay.
the big part too about, and that's why identity is a whole nother conversation because I've been I've been who I've been all of my life up to this point. And so one thing about stepping into who you truly are and, letting go of layers that you've been so attached to, who you thought you were, there's a resistance to that because you have to familiarize yourself. You have to really meet another version of yourself, and you don't know if you're gonna like her. You don't know if she, how the growing pains are gonna be, or if you guys are gonna, you know, see eye to eye. Constant internal struggle. You don't really know what you're up against, and so there's a resistance to step into a new because you're comfortable where you are. You're comfortable. You know what your fears, your triggers, your joys, your happy, your passions are. When you're stepping into a newness, everything is new. The response, the things you're doing, and it's that identity piece is another one that I'm so passionate about because it's so necessary to truly peel back those layers and step into just to know who you are, learn who you are, love who you are, and just have the faith within yourself to keep pushing at the failure. It's like that's let that not be the thing that stop because this is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. Stop playing small.
Drop the mic. Boom.
Don't play yourself.
That part, right? So,
Right.
Courtney, where can people find you? Because I just know that you about to have so many people looking for you. Where can they
So
find you at?
so this is the thing. When I say this is brand new for me, I'm nowhere. I'm on Facebook. That's it. I literally do not. I'm not on Instagram. I am not on LinkedIn. I don't have no. This literally has been. This is the first time on a public broadcasted platform that I'm having this conversation or even interacting in this way. Typically, I move a certain way, and it's essentially about my plans or things that I'm working on and my clients. Even in clients behind the scenes, folks are like, "Where's your website?" I'm like, "I don't have one." I connect our conversation. Let's talk. I can, and so I'm real big on personal interaction. So for that reason, um, I mean, I've made one. There's nothing on there, but Graphene Monarch on Instagram at Graphene Monarch. So GRAPHENE Monarch, like the butterfly.
Mhm.
And so it's absolutely blank. And then here on Facebook.
Okay.
And that's it for now. Things are coming.
Oh, they definitely coming. They
Things are
definitely
coming. Y'all gonna be tired of me in a second. But
coming. What if somebody wants to work with you? What would how would they contact you through the same system, or how would that go?
yes, they can actually contact me via they can hop into, the DMs on Facebook. They can reach out to me via email
Okay.
because again it was by referral only essentially at one point, and then also in conversation. And so every client that I've had them to this point was literally through connection. And so, yeah.
Well, you have a lot of new people who's about to be connected with you. So they can reach you through your inbox, you said, if they want to come
Mhm.
work with you. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm available via inbox. And
cool,
then,
cool.
from there, we can exchange personal contact information and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I'm definitely available. Let me make sure because I don't use it that I gave you guys the right Instagram.
Okay, great. Well,
My
Courtney, thank you is an understatement. Thank
pleasure.
you for blessing this show. I've had many guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one hits different,
Mm.
right? As they say, it hits different.
Uh-huh.
So thank you so much for pouring into the audience, the live audience,
My
because this
pleasure.
message right here will be replayed over and over and over and over again. It'll be people in Oceania, in Europe, in Africa who will hear your message,
Pressure.
girl.
No pressure at all.
No pressure at all. They
None at
gonna hear
all.
your message.
Right.
So,
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, your dedication, your passion to what you're doing, the platform that you're providing, for people is incredible and necessary. And it was an absolute pleasure to experience my first with you. I've told you
ah,
behind the scenes that, yeah, it's great. This is definitely first of many, but you know how first are. It's always special because it was first. So,
love
so
that.
to the
Love that.
people who have even tuned in, thank you so much. I'll go back. I'm not sure how I can read all the comments or where what I'm not seeing, but thank you guys for showing up for Chinitha, for myself, for yourself. It means a lot. It truly does. It
Yeah,
really, really does.
I think you can see the comments probably when the live is over. But
Yeah.
right now, you guys, if you have any questions for Courtney, please comment now. She's gonna take some questions if you have any. In the meantime, we waiting on your questions.
Hmm.
This was so good, so good. So you can't see the screen with the.
I can see them, but they're coming in very
Oh,
delayed. It looks like I'll see them here and then they'll pop up.
okay.
But I can only see. So are the comments streaming from all platforms or are they just streaming from?
They're streaming from all platforms, but mostly it's Facebook.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, guys, feel free to ask. We have about 5 minutes. You can ask some questions for Courtney because y'all know she a life coach. She gonna get you in order. She's gonna get you straight, okay? Let's see. So until the questions come in, is there anything you wanna, share? So where are you from? Good, so good. Where are you from?
Where am I from? The DMV. All
Oh,
over
yeah.
the DMV. Yeah. Maryland. Hmm. To those who, if you're from the DMV, you know what that is. Whether folks are like, DMV is it where you get your license or no?
Yeah, I
DC,
was the same
Maryland,
way. What
Virginia.
is that?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
comments. It looks like we have any questions,
Okay.
so I guess we'll shut
Thank
it
you.
down.
Thank you. I'm seeing a couple of the comments roll in. Thank
Yeah,
you. I appreciate it. Hope
my
I was
mother's
able to,
actually
drop
watching
something for y'all. I literally, it's so funny. Like if you were to ask me anything I just said and I couldn't tell you. Like it's
too.
it's one of those where I was like, be present. So
Thank you, Courtney. This was
you're
so
welcome.
much, so worth it, and I can't wait to follow your journey.
Hmm.
To
Definitely
see.
stay tuned because I'm not playing.
Somebody said, "Where are all the DMV sissies when I lived there?"
Here,
Go
girl,
there.
about to leave. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
definitely stay
Then.
tuned. Thank you so much again for having me. This has been a pleasure. This is good. Perfect timing too. I got a client in about
Yeah.
22 minutes.
All right. See you soon. Have a great day, Courtney, and just thank you. I love you, and have a beautiful day.
I love you too. Thank you. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay.